gentleman from New York, Mr. Jeffries. The gentlewoman from Massachusetts, Miss Clark.
All right, y'all.
California, Mr.
I'm sorry for this
California,
impromptu or
the gentleman from Colorado,
less
Mr.
impromptu, but more.
The gentlewoman from Washington, Miss Delvine.
One
The
moment.
gentlewoman from Michigan, Mrs. Dingle.
The President of the Senate, at the direction of that body, appoints the following senators as members of the committee on the part of the Senate to escort the President of the United States into the
We're going to be watching Trump's
the senator from South Dakota,
State of the Union address,
the senator from Wyoming, Mr.
and
the senator from Arkansas,
let the games begin. This is going to be. I expect this to be a complete
the senator
cluster
from West Virginia,
tuck, if you know what I
the
mean.
senator from South Carolina, Mr. Scott,
It
the
looks.
senator from New York, Mr. Schumer, the senator from Illinois, Mr. Durbin.
Why you need so many people to walk with him? That's a grown man.
The senator from New Jersey, Mr. Booker.
Let's see.
The senator from Wisconsin, Ms. Baldwin.
The members of the escort committee will exit the chamber through the lobby doors.
Exit the chamber through the lobby door. Shut up. All right, let me check my levels. Y'all know how I go. Gotta see if we sound good.
As chatting amongst ourselves, is there anything that we
Alright.
could share that we were talking about?
I think one thing that I'm noticing is a difference between the way that former Vice President Harris and Speaker Mike Johnson were talking last year versus now. I mean, it's so much more jovial with Vice President Vance and Speaker Johnson than it was. It's so much more kind of homeboy. These people know each other and they're kind of on the same side. It's just interesting to watch the differences, you know, just a year ago.
Would you call
All right, guys, we're.
Johnson formal?
Of the United States Supreme Court.
Boo! Boo! Who's this guy? I didn't realize he was so short. Bro, short. Where's Thomas? Where's Tap Dancing Thomas? I missed him.
Jason Dick, we were just watching the Supreme Court come in. We saw Justice Roberts, Kavanaugh, Barrett,
Are they going to mention who's not here?
and we did not see Justices Brown Jackson, Sotomayor, Alito, Gorsuch, Thomas.
We
And
did,
we did see Anthony Kennedy,
Right,
too.
retired Justice Anthony
Does
Kennedy.
that tell you anything? That just 4 out of the 5? Or 4 out of the 9?
So, I mean, Justice Alito has been skipping this for quite a few years after, you know, like sort of some of his motions and kind of mouthings kind of caught the cameras during one of Barack Obama's addresses. Thomas has also skipped quite a few lately. And, you know, it's not surprising to me because I do think that some people are feeling like that they don't have to be there. They've done this before. A lot of them have done this before, even for people who have, you know, are relatively new.
But not necessarily, you don't see this necessarily as a protest by 2 of the Democratic appointed justices, Brown Jackson and Sotomayor.
It could.
And you can
it
see
could,
Justice
it could
Roberts
be,
and
yeah.
Kagan.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, the Supreme Court is a very tight group. They're very close. They spend a lot of time around one another. You know, whether or not it's a protest or whether it's just I think I want to just, you know, catch up on Black Doves on Netflix. It might be that too.
I had a reservation I couldn't miss
Right.
at the local eatery.
Yeah, It is Mardi Gras. You know, maybe they're at Dauphine and
Maybe
downtown.
that's, yeah. Jasmine, right, when we were talking, you were talking about J.D. Vance and Mike Johnson, and I asked the question before we got interrupted, which was, would you consider the Harris-Johnson relationship formal?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I'm not even sure I would call it a relationship. Those are two people that didn't really know each other, that didn't really talk. It was these moments in which they kind of interfaced a lot more after Johnson became speaker, and obviously the vice president was on her 4th year of being the vice president. I believe that Johnson was asked later on in an interview what they talked about, and he said, we made niceties. We didn't talk about politics. We talked about things that two humans talk about. I am not sure that is the case right now, J.D. Vance and Johnson. I think that they're talking pretty frequently. J.D. Vance was at the Capitol earlier today for a confirmation hearing for one of the people nominated to join the FBI, one of his longtime friends. And so I think that they're continuously having conversations in a way that Johnson wasn't having with the previous administration.
We have about a minute and a half before William McFarland, the House Sergeant at Arms, is scheduled to announce, Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States, etc. What are you listening for in tonight's speech, Jason Jones?
Mainly about the border. I mean, I think that there is going to be a lot of discussion about immigration and the border. Trump has always felt that this is the winning issue for him. I think that's going to be a big part of things.
I think that is going to be turning.
This tariffs move that happened, overnight into today. Obviously, there's.
It was cool to be pro Trump's version of immigration when it wasn't clear how integral immigrants play in our day-to-day operations. Food is going to get mad expensive if they continue with this. Housing is going to get expensive, even more expensive than it already is, and it's already unaffordable. Like, this is wild. I just want to see what kind of fireworks are going to happen, let's see what this buffoon is going to say. Ill-built body Marjorie Taylor Greene. The fact that she's trying to run for senator is wild to me. Like, she's a complete idiot.
About these tariffs, and so I don't think that the White House will be able to say quite credibly that wasn't the reason, or that wasn't a reason as to why they're kind of saying that it could be bad.
Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy.
What percentage that is,
Yo.
And whether or not they still do the tariffs.
Titan made his way in here just say hi. And he's going right back out. 14th Amendment, no show the state deprive any person of life, liberty.
62 new members of Congress. Nearly 20% of the Congress is new. And so that's a lot of new members, and I'm not quite sure who that one was. I think we've got to have pretty good batting record.
Is that a wig? Why it look like a fan blown?
Melania Trump, who was on Capitol Hill yesterday as well. Was that a surprise to you down at the White House that she came down? Here comes Mrs. Trump. She's sitting with her guests. Greta gave us her guests earlier. They include so she's sitting with her guests there.
Lincoln Riley family is
That's
there.
right. That's right.
To answer your question, I wasn't surprised to see her. I mean, I think those were her first public remarks since Donald Trump took office. There were some questions about how much she would be in Washington, how frequently she'd be around. But I think that there's a real shift in energy, not just from the president, but also from her office, trying to do things much differently this time around.
Not stealing Michelle Obama speeches.
The president's cabinet.
remember that guy from the impeachment. I'd rather watch cat piss than see this guy do anything.
And now the cabinet is coming in. Secretary of State Rubio, Secretary of the Treasury Bissett. We saw there as well Attorney General Cambondi, Pete Hegseth was there. Mr. Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary, who we talked about a little bit earlier. RFK Jr., of course.
Does Hassan have a Make America Great Again hat on? No! They got him! No! Oh, God. No. Hold on. We're going to have to put... Hold on. Not Hasanabi. What is going on? Oh, I can't find it. Hold on. Let me send this to myself and then I'll get it from there.
The Atlanta Housewives are back.
We're gonna do what we normally do. Turn up. I'm twirling on my haters.
And they are ready.
If you don't take it on back with that 99 nose, don't do that.
In the highways. Go.
There's Senator Adam Schiff sitting with a senator from... Yep, the new senator from...
Him, and he's happy, you know, back to being the center of everything. And so I think you're going to see him show that happiness, shaking hands with his friends, shaking hands potentially with people who don't like him very much, Democrats, you know, kind of pushing them to say something potentially. He's kind of reveling in this moment that he has now that he's back in the White House. And so I think he is going to be there a long time. Whether or not he's there as long as Joe Biden, I think only time will tell. Because Joe Biden, I mean, I remember being there, being, you know, covering it last year and being like, dang, can you leave? I'm trying to go home. So.
It did have end of the night high school reunion.
Yeah, it's like, wrap it up, Joe. We'll see what Donald Trump does.
Yeah, I would guess too that like some of that is there's a little bit of wistfulness, you know, like that Biden, you know, was running for re-election, but you know, who knows what kind of doubts he may have had about his own.
Let me also say this.
Hold on.
I didn't use the best choice of words. I think fair is fair. I think eating that ban is valid. Would it have happened under normal circumstances? Do people say a bunch of infinitely more unhinged things on a regular basis?
All right,
in terms
let's
of
look
like entire populations being desecrated, you know, sentiment, things of that nature? Absolutely, they do that all the time. But come on, fair is fair. What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone's having a fantastic evening, fantastic afternoon, fantastic prenup, no matter where you are in the world of a Piker. This is the Awesome broadcast coming to you live from sunny California, Los Angeles, folks. We're live and alive, and I hope all the boys, girls, and MBs are having a fantastic one because today's a beautiful day. Today's a wonderful day. Today is Tuesday. That's right. It's
all right, let's skip ahead to see what you got to say.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Kneecap HOOD.
Oh, God. He really did put on the Make America hat.
I am unbanned. That's right. A cause for celebration.
Woo-woo.
Folks, ladies and gentlemen, I'm unbanned. That's right. I'm back. And less radical than ever before, of course. I'm certainly going to be
neutered.
Apolitical. Hold on.
He's neutered.
Let me be apolitical real quick because I'm very political right now.
Not taking off the Palestine guards!
That's right.
Oh, you tap dancing!
Okay, this is New Dawn, a new day.
Oh, he sold out!
New Dawn, a new day. An apolitical day, ladies and gentlemen. You already know. You already know what it is. Let's go. Let's go.
Not this guy.
Hell yeah, baby. Let me tell you, folks, I think the reason why the egg prices are so high is because transgenders. I don't think it's your landlord that raised the price of rent. I think it's transgenders.
Yep.
I don't think the cost of living crisis
is
has
real.
anything to do with inflation born out of the greed of corporate consolidated autocrats that run the government. I think it's transgenders. I also think undocumented migrants. That's right. Sometimes it's undocumented migrants, other times it's transgenders. Undocumented migrants also are responsible for the egg prices being so goddamn high, though. Let me tell you. Woo! That's right. All queer people might burn in hell. Let me be a little bit more. May or may not. Okay. Let me be as apolitical as possible. Okay. That's right. I'm just being apolitical, baby. You already know it. And most importantly of all, let me tell you. Okay. Let me tell you.
Have to explain why.
You know who's responsible for Medicare fraud? You know. People stealing money from the federal government. That's right, transgenders. Okay, it is certainly not Rick Scott. Certainly not people like Rick Scott.
Yep.
Who are responsible for unimaginable amounts of fraud.
The reason why he's talking about Rick Scott. Rick Scott is the one that he said should be taken care of, because Rick Scott was part of one of the largest Social Security frauds. Full stop. I think it was like 1 point something billion that were fraudulently distributed to Rick Scott. And Rick Scott doesn't have to worry about that. He's now in the Senate at the age of like 72. Why is someone in the Senate at the age of 72? Ah!
At the provider side of things, it's actually, that's right, it's undocumented migrants. They're the ones who are actually responsible for the Medicare fraud, despite the fact that undocumented immigrants actually contribute more to the American coffers that they take out and have no way of taking advantage of the limited amount of social safety nets that we already have. That is the reality. But of course, I'm apolitical now, which means transgender time. Okay, that's right. It's the transgender Guatemalans, baby. They're taking our Medicare. That's right. And we're going to stop it. Has it stopped yet? No. Has it stopped yet?
Is it ever going to stop?
Have things gotten better for you?
No.
As an average American? No. And that's only because we just haven't been violent enough. Okay, we have not been violent enough. That's the reason. As the Republican Party, okay, we need to do more deportations, which are inherently violent. But of course, when you talk about it from the perspective of the state, it's not considered violent. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen,
we'll revisit this later on. Let's go here. He always does that. You're not pointing at anybody, bro. This is not normal. This is not normal. Why are they not showing it? Show it. Yep. There we go. This is why I wanted to watch it. This is what I wanted to watch it. If that was a man, they would. Nah, they would have done it. These people are nuts. They should have had a backup. Why you only had one, Shawty? You should have had 5. Shawty, she has not gotten up at all. That lady with the glasses has not gotten up. I love it. I love it. Jasmine Crockett sitting down. And another thing, I saw that Charles Barkley, he said that teams should go to the White House because out of respect for the office. If the person who's in office desecrates the office, why would I show him respect? And honestly, I feel like Charles Barkley don't have a purview to even honestly speak on this. You ain't winning nothing, nigga! I ain't gonna tell somebody what to do, and you ain't never been in a position to do it. Well, I digress. Look, that tap dancing. I'm trying. I ain't gonna say nothing. Let's turn the volume back up on this. I'm not gonna lie. I have had bad experiences with USA chants. Majority white spaces. I'm not even gonna go into that. That's a story for another day. Was it wrong? Did I not like it? I didn't like it at all. Let's go. This is annoying. And what's more annoying is that they're clapping like America's doing great right now. America's not doing good right now. Your constituents are not able to afford their lives right now. And y'all out here pumping this guy up like everything he's done and is going to do is great for America. It's not.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's a great honor. Thank you very much. Speaker Johnson, Vice President Vance, the First Lady of the United States. The First Lady of the United
Mike Johnson looks weird in the suit.
Members of the United States Congress, thank you very much. And to my fellow citizens, America is back. 6 weeks ago, I stood beneath the dome of this Capitol and proclaimed the dawn of the golden age of America. From that moment on, it has been nothing but swift and unrelenting action to usher in the greatest and most successful era in the history of our country. We have accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or 8 years, and we are just getting started. I return to this chamber tonight to report that America's momentum is back, our spirit is back, our pride is back, our confidence is back, and the American dream is surging bigger and better than ever before. The American dream is unstoppable, and our country is on the verge of a comeback, the likes of which the world has never witnessed and perhaps will never witness again. Never been anything like it. The presidential election of November 5th was a mandate like has not been seen in many decades. We won all 7 swing states, giving us an electoral college victory of 312 votes. We won the popular vote by big numbers and won counties in our country.
Yeah, he can't handle that. Yeah! The glaze is disgusting, man. This.
And won counties in our country, 2,700 to 525, on a map that reads almost completely red for Republican. Now, for the first time in modern history, more Americans believe that our country is headed in the right direction than the wrong direction.
No, they don't.
It's an astonishing record, 27-point swing, the most ever. Likewise, small business optimism saw its single largest one-month gain ever recorded, a 41-point jump.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease any further disruptions. That's your warning.
Come on, get indignant, huh?
Engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order to the joint session.
Get arrested, bro. Get arrested. It's about time folks start getting arrested. I'm not going out there, though. Come on, we want senators and congressmen that are going to fight back. They're not just going to lay down and take this.
take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat. Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
Good. Everybody should leave. Shame on them. Shame on all of them. No mandate. He won by less than 2 million. It was a difference of 300,000 between 3 different states. That's not a mandate. That's a hairline win. Biden spanked him last election. And if Kamala Harris had more than 90 days to plan her campaign, she ran against somebody that was running for 4 years. Let's not act like this was a mandate. Biden had way more of a mandate. He did not use the bully pulpit that he had. Trump being up there is Biden's fault, man. This is disgusting. They need to have more people get kicked out. Come on, turn up. Somebody else leaving.
In fact, it has been stated by many that the first month of our presidency is the most successful in the history of our nation.
It is. What metric are you using? What metric is he using? Every metric that they used last time, the stock market, jobs, it's all in the garbage right now. What are you talking about? False. Yes! Yes!
More impressive is that, you know who number 2 is? George Washington. How about that? I don't know about that list.
This nigga would compare himself to God if he... I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Taking the oath of office, I declared a national emergency on our southern border, and I deployed the U.S. military and border patrol to repel the invasion of our country. And what a job they've done. As a result, illegal border crossings last month were by far the lowest ever recorded, ever. They heard my words and they chose not to come. Much easier that way. In comparison, under Joe Biden, the worst president in American history, there were hundreds of thousands of illegal crossings a month, and virtually all of them.
Now, you could have their opinions of Biden. I don't like him. I'm not cool that he was a Zionist. I don't appreciate how his lax approach to what he promised in regards to student loan forgiveness. But to say that he was the worst president, he got more infrastructure done. He got he produced more jobs were produced. Not he produced. More jobs were produced under his tenure. We made our way out of COVID. To say he's the worst, come on. Trump added $4 trillion to the deficit. Biden only added 2 and got us out of COVID. Let's not play hooky.
And these people sitting right here will not clap, will not stand, and certainly will not cheer for these astronomical achievements.
They need to leave. Just leave. Please walk out. Please leave.
It's very sad.
Please.
And it just shouldn't be this way.
It should be. And another,
so Democrats,
the signs are funny, right? If they would have did that and then got out, it'd be like, it would have been a moment. But to sit through this and have this man bash y'all like that. It's really weak. They're acting as if they're oh, he just said something. I missed it. They're acting as if they're like citizens at a town hall. Like, come on, y'all got power. Stand up. Don't give this man an audience. Let him and his sick fans.
Every day my administration is fighting to deliver the change America needs to bring a future that America deserves, and we're doing it. This is a time for big dreams and bold action. Upon taking office, I imposed an immediate freeze on all federal hiring, a freeze on all new federal regulations, and a freeze on all foreign aid. I terminated the ridiculous Green New Scam. I withdrew from the unfair Paris Climate Accord, which was costing us trillions of dollars that other countries were not paying. I withdrew from the corrupt World Health Organization.
Right.
And I also withdrew from the anti-American UN Human Rights Council. We ended all of
They don't even hold America accountable for its atrocities. What is he talking about?
Less safe and totally unaffordable. And importantly, we ended the last administration's insane electric vehicle mandate, saving our auto workers and companies from economic destruction.
And Elon Musk is up there just eating it up. Put Elon on the screen. Why are they not doing this? Who is over this? This is so annoying.
To shackle our economy, I have directed that for every one new regulation, 10 old regulations must be eliminated, just like I did in my very successful first day.
Which caused the housing market to be what it is right now.
And in that first term, we set records on ending unnecessary rules and regulations like no other president had done before. We ordered all federal workers to return to the office. They will either show up for work in person or be removed from their job. And we've ended weaponized government where, as an example, a sitting president is allowed to viciously prosecute his political opponent, like me. How did that work out?
You were found guilty!
And I have stopped all government censorship and brought back free speech in America. It's back.
It was never gone. You still can't say what you want on Twitter. You still can't say whatever you want on Facebook. It's all a facade. Oh my gosh.
And 2 days ago, I signed an order making English the official language of the United States of America.
Why does that matter?
I renamed the Gulf of Mexico.
English is from England. That's not even American. What are we talking about?
And likewise, I renamed for a great president, William McKinley, Mount McKinley again.
Stupid.
Beautiful Alaska. We love Alaska. We've ended the tyranny of so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion policies all across the entire federal government and indeed the private sector and our military.
Not at Costco.
And our country will be woke no longer. We believe that whether you are a doctor, an accountant, a lawyer, or an air traffic controller, you should be hired and promoted based on skill and competence, not race or gender. Very important. You should be hired based on merit. And the Supreme Court, in a brave and very powerful decision, has allowed us to do so. Thank you. Thank you very much.
The thing about it is, what the Supreme Court did was say that the only places where race-based selections can be made was limited to armed services. So they didn't do away with the practice. They just said schools can choose not to, or that schools can't use it anymore. They didn't do away with it. Like he doesn't even know what he's talking about.
We have removed the poison of critical race theory from our public schools.
It was never there!
Making it the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
If people want to play in their delusion, go ahead. What does that even? It doesn't matter. How is that making Americans' lives better?
An executive order to ban men from playing in women's sports. Three years ago, Peyton McNabb was an all-star high school athlete, one of the best, preparing for a future in college sports. But when her girls' volleyball match was invaded by a male, he smashed the ball so hard in Peyton's face, causing traumatic brain injury, partially paralyzing her right side, and ending her athletic career. It was a shot like she's never seen before. She's never seen anything like it. Peyton is here tonight in the gallery, and Peyton, from now on, schools will kick the men off the girls' team, or they will lose all federal funding.
She was on the softball team. She wasn't on no volleyball team.
And if you really want to see numbers, just take a look at what happened in the women's boxing, weightlifting, track and field, swimming, or cycling, where a male recently finished a long-distance race 5 hours and 14 minutes ahead of a woman for a new record by 5 hours. Broke the record by 5 hours. It's demeaning for women, and it's very bad for our country. We're not going to put up with it any longer.
But your eggs about to still be $8. This nigga ran on bringing down grocery prices, but transgenders, and y'all distracted by it. Oh my God! Why do they keep showing her?
What I have just described is only a small fraction of the common sense revolution that is now, because of us, sweeping the entire world. Common sense has become a common theme, and we will never go back. Never going to let that happen. Among my very highest priorities is to rescue our economy and get dramatic and immediate relief to working families. As you know, we inherited from the last administration an economic catastrophe and an inflation nightmare. Their policies drove up energy prices, pushed up grocery costs, and drove the necessities of life out of reach for millions and millions of Americans. They've never had anything like it. We suffered the worst inflation in 48 years, but perhaps even in the history of our country. They're not sure. As president, I'm fighting every day to reverse this damage and make America affordable again.
It's so stupid.
Especially let the price
It was cool when they first started.
Control. The egg price is out of control, and we're working hard to get it back down. Secretary, do a good job on that. You inherited a total mess from the previous administration. Do a good job.
Finally.
A major focus of our fight to defeat inflation is rapidly reducing the cost of energy. The previous administration cut the number of new oil and gas leases by 95%, slowed pipeline construction to a halt, and closed more than 100 power plants. We are opening up many of those power plants right now. And frankly, we have never.
I don't know if I'm gonna make it through this.
Like it. That's why on my first day in office, I declared a national energy emergency. As you've heard me say many times, we have more liquid gold under our feet than any nation on earth, and by far. And now I fully authorize the most talented team ever assembled to go and get it. It's called Drill, Baby, Drill. My administration is also working on a gigantic natural gas pipeline in Alaska, among the largest in the world, where Japan, South Korea, and other nations want to be our partner with investments of trillions of dollars each. There's never been anything like that one. It will be truly spectacular. It's all set to go. The permitting is gotten. And later this week, I will also take historic action to dramatically expand production of critical minerals and rare earths here in the USA.
Say goodbye to your national parks. They about to pollute all the water sources.
To combat inflation, we will not only be reducing the cost of energy, but we'll be ending the flagrant waste of taxpayer dollars.
She's going to give it all to Elon.
And to that end, I have created the brand new Department of Government Efficiency. GOGE. Perhaps you've heard of it. Perhaps. Which is headed by Elon Musk, who is in the gallery tonight.
One minute is headed by him, the next minute is headed by the president. Which one is it? Niggas can't get their story straight.
Thank you, Elon. He's working very hard. He didn't need this. He didn't need this.
Yes, he
Thank you
did.
very much. We appreciate it. Everybody here, even this side, appreciates it, I believe. They just don't want to admit that. Just listen to some of the appalling waste we have already identified. $22 billion from HHS to provide free housing and cars for illegal aliens. $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is.
No, you don't know what that is.
$8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of. $60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment in Central America. $60 million. $8 million for making mice transgender. This is real.
Like, do people really believe this?
$32 million for
terrible. Unc in the building!
Moldova. $10 million for male circumcision in Mozambique. $20 million for the Arab Sesame Street in the Middle East. It's a program. $20 million for a program. $1.9 billion to recently created Decarbonization of Homes Committee, headed up, and we know she's involved. Just at the last moment, the money was passed over by a woman named Stacey Abrams. Have you ever heard of her? A $3.5 million consulting contract for lavish fish monitoring. $1.5 million for voter confidence in Liberia. $14 million for social cohesion in Mali. $59 million for illegal alien hotel rooms in New York City. He's a real estate developer. He's done very well. $250,000 to increase vegan local climate action innovation in Zambia. $42 million for social and behavior.
And the thing about it is, like, all these things that he's complaining about, Congress voted for. These people who are cheering, boo, yeah. You guys allocated the funds for this. It's not waste, fraud, and abuse. If you said the money will go to this, these people are corrupt. They are idiots. It makes no sense. And Trump don't know nothing because he don't know.
All of these scams, and they're far worse, but I didn't think it was appropriate to talk about them. They're so bad.
He doesn't know.
Have been found out and exposed and swiftly terminated by a group of very intelligent, mostly young people, headed up by Elon, and we appreciate it. We found hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud. And we've taken back the money and reduced our debt to fight inflation and other things.
Ain't reduced
Taking back
nothing.
a lot of that money. We got it just in time. This is just the beginning. The Government Accountability Office, a federal government office, has estimated annual fraud of over $500 billion in our nation. And we are working very hard to stop it.
A yearly...
We're also identifying shocking levels of incompetence and probable fraud in the Social Security program for our seniors, and that our seniors and people that we love rely on. Believe it or not, government databases list 4.7 million Social Security members from people aged 100 to 109 years old. It lists 3.6 million people from ages 110 to 119. I don't know any of them. I know some people that are rather elderly, but not quite that elderly. 3.47 million people from ages 120 to 129. 3.9 million people from ages 130 to 139. 3.5 million people from ages 140 to 149. And money is being paid to many of them. And we're searching right now. In fact, Pam, good luck. Good luck. You're going to find it. But a lot of money is paid out to people because it just keeps getting paid and nobody does. And it really hurts Social Security. It hurts our country. 1.3 million people from ages 150 to...
And another thing, like, if this is what you're saying it is, and we know it not to be that, we know that people who understand the COBRA system, there's things that certain things aren't entered, so a generic date will be entered instead, right? But even if it was what he's saying it to be, there doesn't need to be an investigation. You already have the evidence. Go ahead and charge him. Why are you saying good luck with it? It's like, this is dumb. And how do people fall for it?
159 and over 130,000 people, according to the Social Security databases, are age over 160 years old. We have a healthier country than I thought.
Lies. Yes, thank you. Finally.
Including, to finish, 1,039 people between the ages of 220 and 229. One
Just
person
straight up
between the age
lying.
of 240 and 249, and one person is listed at 360 years of age. More than 100 years, more than 100 years older than our country.
America's like 400 years
We're
old.
gonna find out
Hold
where
up.
that money's going.
Hold up.
And it's not going to be
Now we gotta look it up.
all of the fraud, waste,
He said
and theft
300.
we can find. We will defeat inflation, bring down mortgage rates, lower car payments and grocery prices, protect our seniors, and put more money in the pockets of
All right,
American
I was wrong.
families.
Oh, the colonies. I'm thinking back to the colonies days. Yeah. Whatever. But that doesn't even make sense. Social Security is like an 80-year-old policy. How? Alright, whatever.
And today interest rates took a beautiful drop, big beautiful drop. It's about time. And in the near future,
You gonna bring up that stock market?
What's been done in 24 years. Balance the federal budget. We're going to balance it.
We're gonna cut Social Security. We're gonna cut Medicaid. We're gonna cut Medicare. We're gonna cut Social Security nets like SNAP,
With that gold
food
card
stamps,
developed in
housing,
scale,
all that's on the chopping block.
Gold card, which goes on sale very, very soon. For $5 million, we will allow the most successful job-creating people from all over the world to
And I promise to track how many of these are purchased. I promise you, we're gonna have a day. We're gonna have a weekly update on how many people purchase these, because I don't believe people are going to do it. Because when you do, America expects you to pay taxes on the money that you make outside of America. Let's see how that works.
a path to U.S. citizenship. It's like the green card, but better and more sophisticated. And these people will have to pay tax in our country. They won't have to pay tax from where they came. The money that they've made, you wouldn't want to do that, but they have to pay tax, create jobs. They'll also be taking people out of colleges and paying for them so that we can keep them in our country instead of having them being forced out. Number one at the top school, as an example, being forced out and not being allowed to stay and create tremendous numbers of jobs and great success.
Yo, and the thing about it too is he's talking about not keeping immigrants here who come here for school. He's taking out immigrants who don't have criminal passes. Oftentimes, they're in the middle of getting their immigration process. They're in the middle of their immigration process, and he's kicking them out. This guy's a fraud, man.
For a company out there. So while we take out the criminals, killers, traffickers, and child predators who are allowed to enter our country under the open border policy of these people, the Democrats, the Biden administration, the open border insane policies that you've allowed to destroy our country, we will now bring in brilliant, hardworking, job-creating people. They're going to pay a lot of money, and we're going to reduce our debt with that money.
Doesn't work like that. Look how white it is in there.
Americans have given us a mandate for bold and profound change. For nearly 100 years, the federal bureaucracy has grown until it has crushed our freedoms, ballooned our deficits, and held back America's potential in every possible way. The nation founded by pioneers and risk takers now drowns under millions and millions of pages of regulations and debt. Approvals that should take 10 days to get instead take 10 years, 15 years, and even 20 years before you reject it.
Yo, those regulations are implemented at the federal level. It is your state that is making you have to put in a walkway. But it's your local fire department that's green lighting whether or not you can open up your business. It's your local town hall that is granting licenses. It's not the federal government. Unless you are a giga corporation where you're handling chemicals, and those things need to be regulated. I'm not gonna say it. I gotta get a sound drop for Michael Scott, man.
Thousands of federal workers who have not been showing up to work. My administration will reclaim power from this unaccountable bureaucracy, and we will restore true democracy to America again.
I don't know if I can make it through this. I'm getting tired already.
And any federal bureaucrat who resists this change will be removed from office immediately.
And they clap for it. They are all oh my gosh.
And the days of rule by unelected bureaucrats are over.
Well, they got Musk up there, unelected. Come on. Yeah, point. Come on. I really do not like the Democrats, man.
Economy in history is
they're so weak.
To pass tax cuts for everybody. They're in there. They're waiting for you to vote. And I'm sure that the people on my right, I don't mean the Republican right, but my right here, I'm sure you're going to vote for those tax cuts, because otherwise I don't believe the people will ever vote you into office. So I'm doing you a big favor by telling you that. But I know this group is going to be voting for the tax cuts. Thank you. It's a very, very big part of our plan. We had tremendous success in our first term with it. A very big part of our plan. We're seeking permanent income tax cuts all across the board. And to get urgently needed relief to Americans hit especially hard by inflation, I'm calling for no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for our great seniors.
Where's the legislation? What he put together in that CR is not it made no. You know what? I'm not doing this no more. I can't. You know what? Hold on. I got you. Start by paying your taxes. Please.
Interest payments on car loans, tax deductible, but only if the car is made in America. And by the way, we're going to have growth in the auto industry like nobody's ever seen. Plants are opening up all over the place. Deals are being made. Never seen. That's a combination of the election win and tariffs. It's a beautiful word, isn't it? That, along with our other policies, will allow our auto industry to absolutely boom. It's going to boom. Spoke to the majors today, all three, the top people, and they're so excited. In fact, already numerous car companies have announced that they will be building massive automobile plants in America, with Honda just announcing a new plant in Indiana, one of the largest anywhere in the world.
All right.
And this has taken place since our great victory on November 5th, a date which will hopefully go down as one of the most important in the history of our country. In addition,
All right, I can't do this no more. I tried as long as I could, and I'm not doing this to myself no more. He brought up no tax on tips, so I wanted
Dialpad AI works for
I
you
wanted
and your
to
customer.
look at other videos or show other examples of people just blindly buying into this narrative, right? You got this guy, I don't know where he came from or why he's so significant, where his influence come from, but for whatever reason, he's in these YouTube streets. We're not going to spend too much time on his video. I don't really respect what he has to say, but he was parroting what Trump just said. So let's listen.
About why Democrats do what they do. So yesterday, obviously, we know that Trump has been getting the budget together, and one of the things that happened before Trump even took office was they did a temporary solution for making sure that we keep the government funded and we keep the offices open by basically not doing a full year budget, but they basically did a temporary budget that allowed for us to continue to, keep the government open, keep workers working and payroll going and all of that stuff, military.
Now, not to be a dirtbag and nitpick what he's saying, right? But the proper terms is a continuing resolution. A CR basically is to not make a new budget like he said, but to continue what the previous year's budget was, with minor changes within the margin.
Very funded and everything, right? And so yesterday, basically what happened was Republicans had to band together, which is one of the reasons why we needed to control all three branches of government. They had to band together, and I think that they passed it like 217 to 215, all Republicans except for one. And none of the Democrats actually voted for Trump's bill. And I don't know if they did it as a form of solidarity. I don't know if they did it because, they was just against Trump or whatever. Two of the things that were very important that was in that it's not the actual budget itself, it's the framework, right? It's basically the framework for them to be able to push it through
now,
over into. Remember
what he's saying. It's the framework, right? It's the framework. What that budget is, what that CR is a framework of what they're expecting to do moving forward.
Other branches of government so that we can eventually get a budget together and vote on it. But the framework of it was basically tax cuts for everyday people. Now, this is one of the things that the Bernie Sanders of the world and the AOCs and the Jasmine Crockett, they want money to go for the people. And again, they're so hell-bent on not liking Trump and not trying to support anything that he does that they're basically showing their hand. They're showing you that it's less about the people and it's more about who their ops are. They're just like one big gang in Congress. And the way that you know this is the biggest things that was in it was even things that Kamala Harris copied from Trump. No tax on tips and no tax on overtime.
All right. Now, he said that there was no tax on tips and no tax on overtime. That was the main point of what I wanted to show from his content, right? He's parroting what Trump said. Not only is he parroting what Trump said, these goofballs are.
Through cancellation of two.
So, let's go.
Time, basically. That's
Tips
insane.
and overtime.
Yeah,
Who's the one Republican?
So do you guys remember when Kamala campaigned on no tax, no tips after Trump did?
Like the day after.
And here we are, and every single Democrat voted against no tax on overtime, basically. That's
Tips
insane.
and overtime.
Yeah,
Who's the
both of
one?
them.
Who's the one Republican? You didn't even see that, did you? The people who say the Democratic Party is for the working class, I don't know, man.
But that's
the fact
still
they tried
insane.
that hard not to pass it, and that's the party of the working class. Yet anything that benefits the working class, they're against.
No, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with this very simple thing. They love the massive bloat and waste because it's like you said, Mark, they get to fit all of their little pet projects underneath the covers where nobody can see it. You got Stacey Abrams and one of her climate fund groups is supposed to get $2 billion when if you look at their tax returns, their revenue is only $100 and they're getting $2 billion. This is the kind of stuff. They're so upset about Elon Musk and the Doge team having access to the Internal Revenue Service data into the Treasury payment system, but
now, something about Donaldson, you can't trust this nigga. You can't trust him even if you saw him do it. That could have been a robot. This nigga is one of the slimiest slime balls. Full stop. This nigga, you can't trust him with nothing. You ever heard his ex-wife talk? Like, no, let's not do that.
There's a report that came out the other day that under Joe Biden, he let 53 researchers and students, unpaid people, go in and actually have full access to the data of the American people at the IRS. Joe Biden's administration let that happen. So they have no problem with the waste and the fraud and the abuse as long as their special interest groups are being funded and their ideology is being promoted regardless of the will of the American people. But our country can't simply survive that. We are very thankful that Donald Trump and his team are saying enough is enough. They are going to save this nation for the American people and begin the process of restoring a constitutional republic.
Bro, they trying to keep people down so they can keep running their scams and getting money.
But if that were true, then one would think that the so-called cost savings from certain wasteful cuts would be reinvested in Medicaid. However, that is not what the committee is proposing. They are proposing that we have cuts to these essential programs in order to pay for Elon Musk's tax breaks. The order has come down to this committee. Find $880 billion. Find it for what? To pay for a tax cut bill that benefits tax cuts on yachts and private jets and billionaires and mega corporations.
And this is what I'm talking about. These niggas are just, you saw, they're just scrolling through their Twitter feed with no understanding of what she's saying. He's talking about, she talking about no tax on tips. No, you goofball. That no tax on tips is not a part of the CR. We're going to go into it. We're going to just do a simple word search to understand, to see, is no tax on tips even mentioned in the CR? What they're talking about is Trump's, the continuation of Trump's tax cuts from 2000, what was it, 18, 20 or whatever. Those tax cuts benefit people with yachts, all those different things. They're able to those tax cuts fund those things for the ultra rich. But they don't have the understanding to even understand what she's talking about. You guys are advocating for tax cuts that screw you in the long run. And even if it doesn't screw you in the long run, it's going to screw over your grandmother. It's going to screw over your parents. It's going to screw over the orphans. It's going to screw over the public school system. You don't realize what you're advocating for because you're just going based off of what the vibes are. These niggas are clowns. And it's going to show, right? Watch. Just give it a little while. I promise you, this is something going to...
And working class people pay higher effective tax rates than Facebook does. Undocumented immigrants in this country pay more in taxes than many large corporations do. And so
is that accurate?
It is. You don't know. The portion of taxes that middle America, poor America, let's say, and you're poor if you make less than $200,000 a year. All right, so let's just make that as the benchmark. If you make less than $200,000 a year, the portion that you pay of your income in taxes compared to the portion of profits that these giga corporations pay, like Walmart, who gets subsidies for having for employing people who live under the poverty line. So I'm spinning again. I'm spinning. Let me chill out. Let me breathe. The percentage of taxes that people who make less than $200,000 a year compared to these corporations that get all these tax write-offs, all these different things, is not comparable. And if you really go sector by sector, let's take oil production in Louisiana. The state will cap the amount that the state will be able to tax oil and gas companies to be like less than 10% of their profit. It's so, oh my gosh.
Problem.
The argument here that these cuts need to be for the sustainability of Medicaid doesn't really make sense when you realize that these cuts are being just moved to justify expenditures and deficit spending in another area.
Yeah, I mean, these politicians are beyond corrupt.
You know, they're so corrupt.
And they're just saying it. They don't know how. They couldn't explain to you how what she said is corrupt. They can't explain how she is being corrupt. There's nothing that they could say that is factual about. Now, if you want to say AOC is annoying, if you want to say that she could be overbearing sometimes, I don't have a problem with her. But to say she's corrupt, nigga, give an allegation in time, place of a crime. Come on. And it's black dudes, right? And they're just so willing to say whatever without a foundational understanding of what they're speaking about.
She hit the pause. I just knew she was gonna say some bullshit.
Yeah, these people right here, man.
They want to hold people down, man. They want people relying on them. Yeah.
And it's right in front of your face. Like the Nancy Pelosi situation. She's never made more than $175,000 a year. She's worth $100 and something million. How
you smoking on dope if you think Nancy Pelosi only made $100,000 a year when they're able to buy stocks on the same in the same industries that they're regulating. Joe Rogan is an idiot. She gets however much money from Congress. That doesn't take into consideration her speaking deals, books, interviews, all different other manners of her stocks, her purchases in the stock market, her stock portfolio. Let me say, Joe Rogan is a baboon. He's a complete idiot.
Corruption. It only happens through corruption, and it's transparent legal corruption. It's very strange, and it's not. And it's
transparent legal corruption.
That's the crazy part. It's legal.
Like wow,
it is legal.
Nah, don't.
And now, is Trump calling for people in Congress to not be able to buy stocks in the same industry? There is no Republican policy being pushed to limit congressional or senators' ability to purchase stocks in the same industries that they're regulating. There's nothing. You won't find it. Because it's not that's not their appetite. That's not what they do. They want deregulation. Trump just signed into gave an executive order basically making it legal for foreign lobbyists to be able to give bribes.
Have been exposing so much over Twitter. So today, the federal government exceeded 100 million annual rent savings through cancellation of 250 vacant,
underutilized,
totaling 3 million square foot with 7,250 current leases. There is plenty of available offices for the current workforce.
So they building all these buildings and not even renting them out to anybody to actually use them.
I'm gonna tell you, they're not
renting
them. The working class person, and they're gonna turn around
and call you
and inside the trade, and they tell y'all that y'all oppressed.
Yeah. So 380 Microsoft, 365 licenses were with zero users.
So they have fake Microsoft Teams with accounts on them too. So that's like going to a school with having fake C00s. that's literally what's going on.
Wait, maybe I don't know. Are they saying they're working from home? Because 128 Microsoft Team conference rooms licensed only installed 30 rooms.
So they got like the software to do meetings from Microsoft. They ordered 128 of them, and there's only 30 of them that they set up. Yeah, they were just wasting the money out.
129.
Bro, like, they don't have an understanding of you buy more than you may need at a particular time. And there's multiple agencies that use this. There are multiple agencies that are integrating this. It's literally the equivalent of having an opinion on how a business should run while having no experience in said field. It's literally blowing gas. It has no relevance to what is actually being talked to. This is literally the equivalent of giving medical research paper to a 12-year-old. They have no ability to consume the information and filter it so that they'll be able to apply it. They're just seeing numbers. This is a lot. This is unreasonable, and are totally inept to be able to make a coherent point.
Photoshop licenses, only using 22 of them.
Oh my gosh.
What is this? Department of Labor?
They just finessing y'all.
So
all types of levels. Credit cards, stocks, it does not matter. They're finding a way to get that money. All right, y'all, so if y'all want to know more about these corrupt politicians, how they're getting so much money, how they're getting their net worth so high on such a little salary, we're going to bring in an expert on this stuff, and his name is Ross Gibbons. And not only is he going to teach you about what they do, he's going to teach you exactly how they do it. He's going to teach you how to do it yourself. All you got to do is sign up for a free presentation, y'all. So, I mean, that's free knowledge. I mean, we're going to be there, so come hang out with us, get some free knowledge, and here's Ross.
Don't miss it, guys. It's Thursday.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fun, guys. I mean, who doesn't want any money? I mean, these people have been doing this for years, and I think that the American people.
Oh, is this an infomercial?
Wouldn't they put
yes, this is.
Ross Gibbons is a cool guy. He's very credible, and he's gonna tell you.
He's from South Alabama, conservative guy, man. He fits in right with the game.
So we'll be there Thursday, and be there with us. And here's Ross. He's gonna tell us some more.
If you want to grow your portfolio, let's go.
All right, so Ross, what's going on, man? How do these politicians make so much money? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, the cheating. Yeah, pretty straightforward. I mean, no, thanks for having me on, guys. But yeah, look, we've been doing this research for 7 or 8 years now. And when it comes to the stock market, it's not Warren Buffett and Wall Street that make all the money. It's politicians in DC. And when you look...
It's literally a lie. Warren Buffett is a billionaire, but he's telling you Elizabeth Warren and Nancy Pelosi, who are, we know they're millionaires, are the ones that's making all the money. It mathematically does not make any sense. These niggas are pawns. They're there to sell you stuff. They have no validity.
Are you good?
Yes, I'm good.
Sound like you're crashing out.
I'm crashing out. I'm live. You want to say hi? Ain't nobody in here. I'm just yelling at the computer.
Hello.
You want to see yourself? Trump's talking.
Who cares?
I know. But there you go.
The sky is purple, not blue. That's something that TikTok has said that it's blue, but it's actually not.
It's not.
Y'all should give me money.
Yeah. When you go out, close both doors because that dog keeps barking and it makes me want to punch him in the head.
Dang, man, that's poison.
I know. Both doors, please. Thank you. That's my little brother, y'all. Love to Freddy. But like I was saying, they are just pawns used to sell you something. They don't have an understanding of what they're talking about. I have another one that I wanted to. Like, my point in doing this is you can't, just because it's a black face doesn't mean you can trust what they're saying. You literally cannot trust them. You're going against your own interests
in agencies
when you just blindly trust what these people say. There we go. So this is the next one. It's, Lord have mercy, what a day.
Another about Medicaid, and President Trump hosted his first cabinet meeting where Elon Musk was in attendance. Of course, the media didn't like it, but first we're going to start with understanding what the GOP passed last night. Hear it for yourself.
Over much of the U.S., and guess what? The House delivered on President Trump's promise, narrowly passing the one big, beautiful bill overnight, 217 to 215. One Republican voted no. Of course, no Democrats support tax cuts and spending cuts.
Yeah, so after passing a procedural vote early yesterday, Speaker Mike Johnson rounded up enough votes to carry out Trump's agenda of passing the budget resolution. Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massie was the lone Republican to vote against the measure that includes trillions in tax breaks and spending cuts, and it now heads to the Senate, where Republicans are expected to take it up now.
So this entire story is becoming really dramatic because there's two sides of this debate. Democrats are claiming the Republicans in this resolution are saying that they want to cut $880 billion from Medicaid. Republicans, on the other hand, say, hey, there's nothing about Medicaid in this resolution. In fact, this resolution is all about setting the stage and the foundation for us to extend the tax cuts that are already in place and to remove taxes from Social Security, tips, and overtime. Now, of course, I'm going to provide some receipts in this video to show you exactly what I mean and why Democrats are wrong. But first, let's hear from them. Here's Congresswoman Dingell from Michigan claiming that Republicans want to cut Medicaid.
Do you think Medicaid is inevitably going to be hit by these cuts they're calling for?
Look, I'm going to be very clear. You've already seen things that have come from the Republicans and the targets that have been given to different committees. Energy and Commerce, which I sit on, has that $880,000 figure that you were, billion figure that you were just talking about. There is no way to, the way that it's been laid out right now, to not cut Medicaid. And if you cut Medicaid, the president, that's why the president's saying it, because it's the largest payer for long-term care in this country. It pays for children's health care that should be able to go to the doctor when they're sick, for people with disabilities. I'm very worried about what their intent is. They haven't spelled it out, but the budget they passed last night, they've not spelled out how they're going to get there, and all the tea leaves say you're only going to get there by cutting Medicaid.
Now, she's correct in what we use Medicaid for, but she's wrong in saying that Republicans want to cut Medicaid, because let me just be clear here. There's a reason why DOGE is a thing, right? Every agency right now is responsible for finding fraud, waste, and abuse, and that's why they're putting this in this bill. It's not to cut Medicaid, it's to find the waste in Medicaid. Now, what's an example of waste or fraud? When Medicaid is going to illegal immigrants. Me and you both know blue states are dishing out benefits to illegal migrants. So, I mean, Democrats, they're not...
First of all, blue states fund their own budget. They don't get majority of their funding from the federal government. So if a blue state decides that they're going to allocate the money that they have in their coffers to, in whatever way, to, because we know Texas is busing immigrants from Texas to New York. So whatever they're doing with their money is not equivalent to what the federal is just. It's annoying. And if they're talking about the illegal immigrants that are children that are getting Medicaid dollars. Like you're the scum of the earth, really.
Telling the full story here, and they won't. They're gonna try to tug on your heartstrings.
No, what she's doing is Trump put a mandate that. Oh, hold on, because I pulled it all up. I wish I. Can't get it. But basically, telling the Ways and Means Committee that you have to cut $800 billion from your budget when majority of your budget goes to Medicare. There is no other cuts to make than outside of Medicare, and he knows that. He's like, oh, we're just here to find waste, fraud, and abuse. So if that's true, why would you fire the apparatus that is there to find waste, fraud, and abuse? How is that? What are they called? Not attorneys general. What are the... Task to find waste, fraud, and abuse. Inspector Generals. Not Attorney Generals, Inspector Generals. If that was the case, why would you fire all of the Inspector Generals from these departments? If your real goal is to find waste, fraud, and abuse, why not? Even if you're saying that these programs are waste, fraud, and abuse, why not have Congress fix them? Why is Elon Musk need to be in the equation at all? It makes no sense.
Which is what they're phenomenal at doing. But when you pull back the curtain and look at the facts, that's not actually what's occurring. Now, an example of them being emotional, here is Chris Murphy yelling about the resolution right after it passed.
You are talking about the most massive transfer of wealth and resources from poor people and the middle class to the billionaires and corporations in the history of this country, right? You're talking about $880 billion of cuts to Medicaid. Now, I get it, like $880 billion, like what does that mean, right? That's a huge number. Nobody understands. Let me tell you what that means. That means that sick kids die in this country. That means that hospitals in depressed communities and rural communities close their doors, right? That means that drug and addiction treatment centers disappear.
And how is what he's saying factual? These people can't pay for their services. Oh my gosh. They can't pay for the services that they receive at the hospital without Medicare. If you cut the amount of the pool of money that is contributed to Medicare by $800 billion, that is a cut in services. And honestly, in my opinion, that's the equivalent as a citizen to us. That is the equivalent of a pay cut. We invest into this. I've invested in Social Security, Medicare since I was 17 years old. I'm now 30. The retirement age when I started investing was 65. They're trying to bump it up to 67. And realistically, by the time I'm in retirement age, they may bump it up to 80. I got to work till I'm 80 just to be able to receive Social Security that I've been investing in since, the dawn of time. It's crazy. Actually, no. I was getting Social Security taken out of my summer checks. So I've been investing in Social Security since I was 15, 16. It's ridiculous.
Right. All across this country. That means that millions of working families who have insurance today, because by the way, 24% of Americans get their health care from Medicaid, they all of a sudden don't have their health care tomorrow.
So it begs the question, why are Democrats claiming that Americans will get no health care if this resolution turns into a bill that is signed by President Trump? Well, what they're doing is banking on fear. They're hoping fear.
These people are banking on you not knowing anything. That's what he's doing. He's lying. It's either he really doesn't know what he's talking about, or he does know what he's talking about, but he's getting paid by whoever. It looks like he's heavy on Rumble. And how do these people have 800,000 followers? It's like, this has 34,000 likes. Like, am I hating? I don't know.
Stop the Republicans and President Trump from pushing the America First agenda forward. This is why they're using a lot of hyperbole. This is why they're going to the extreme scenarios, the worst case, the world is going to fall apart type of rhetoric in order to push back. And the problem with all
if you have anybody that does get Social Security, does get Medicaid, you understand how limited that service is as it is right now. You're talking about bringing cuts to that program? Like, that's not going to be either exacerbate an already horrible situation.
This is they're not providing their the Democrat from California.
What he was saying was basically they're not offering any response or alternative. But watch the slippery, slimy move, right? Watch this.
Ro Khanna on this exact point. Take a look.
And you know what? You want to go after waste and fraud. This is what's so frustrating. They're not going after any of the big ticket items, the subsidies to fossil fuel companies, the Pentagon budget with the 5 prime contracts.
Did say you want to cut that by 8%.
Yeah, and he said he wants to reinvest it in the other parts of the department so that the top line doesn't go down. It's all smoke and mirrors. They're not going after Medicare Advantage fraud. They're not going after prescription drugs that are costing the government.
Tim Scott!
So Congressman,
not Tim Scott. Rick Scott!
Everything you're saying. And some of it I actually agree with. How come Democrats haven't presented an alternative plan?
We have. Senator Warren has. I have.
And not you.
Whoa. See, they always move the goalposts. He's offered a resolution. Senator Warren has offered a resolution. He said, why did your side not offer? That's two different people that did. Then it moves to, why hasn't your leadership? It's like, you can't win. These people are slimy. Just because it's a black face does not mean he has your intention or the best intentions for you. Just doesn't mean that he cares about your grandmother. These niggas are snakes. They're slimy, man.
The leadership of the Democratic Party. I haven't seen a plan from Hakeem Jeffries. I haven't seen a plan from Chuck Schumer. I have not seen a plan from the leadership of the party saying, look, we recognize that we have to have cuts. We recognize that government is bloated. Let us present the Democratic plan to work with the president, to work with Republicans, to do what's in the best interest of the American people.
And that is a message I would...
Now, that's where I wanted to end him because I can't... I hate listening to this guy talk. It's annoying. Let's go here. Boom. I love having stuff already queued up. So now we can get to the nitty gritty. You saw how he clipped that real quick. So let's go and watch the actual debate. Right.
Next, my political sources are here. Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna of California and also CNN political commentator and Republican strategist Shermichael Singleton. I would like to ask you both about the gold card, but I'll start with Doge. Because, Shermichael, we do repeatedly hear this pledge of transparency from the White House, from Elon Musk himself on this effort. But if you look at the website where they have been putting their contracts and saying, this is how much money we've saved from canceling all this stuff, they quietly today canceled or pulled down the ones that they claimed to have canceled that were really the biggest ones. One was it claimed to be $8 billion from ICE. It was actually $8 million. Another one they said it was...
Whoa. They skipped over that. They skipped over that way too quickly. It wasn't $800 million. it wasn't a billion, it wasn't 8 billion, it was 8 million, which is grossly different. But they put out that lie and make the correction. But what goes out and what holds more? The lie. What was so shocking from the beginning. These people play on your ignorance. It's ridiculous.
$1 cuts at USAID. They just counted it 3 times. Another one.
All right, let's go back so you can hear it again.
$1 million cuts at USAID. They just counted it 3. They have been putting their contracts and saying, no, this is how much money we've saved from canceling all this stuff. They quietly today canceled or pulled down the ones that they claimed to have canceled that were really the biggest ones. One was, it claimed to be $8 billion from ICE, was actually $8 million. Another one, they said it was $655 million cuts at USAID. They just counted it 3 times. Another one was from the Social Security Administration.
So my biggest lesson that
a fraction of the $200 million they claimed that they had. What does that say about that effort?
Well, it just says that numbers are very technical, and I think this is why they are appointing an administrator, someone who actually has the technical skills to make sure that as the American people and members of Congress are seeing this information, whether that's via X or via the Doge's website, that the numbers presented are accurate. And I expect for those numbers to be so. But this is a new process. We haven't attempted anything like this as quickly as we're trying.
It's not a process,
it took him
bro.
5 years to get to this point. They're trying to do.
It's not a process. There was one tweet that they put out claiming that they canceled a contract that ended when Bush was in office. They're just playing on your ignorance. Black faces in high places mean nothing, man. Especially when they sleazeballs. Even on CNN. Just because he presents himself well does not mean he actually has black people's or regular Americans. Let's not even limit to black people.
Something a lot quicker over a month and a half, and so you're going to have some glitches, you're going to have some errors, but I think the recognition of the errors are let's appoint someone with the technical skills and experience to make sure that these things don't continue moving forward, and I expect for us to see that come to fruition.
What's the conversation on Capitol Hill? I mean, we're even hearing from Republicans like Nicole Malliotakis in New York who say that some of the decisions here that are being made are quite rash.
Well, the problem is it's having a consequence on real people's lives. We had 15 people today talk about their experiences, many of them Trump voters, veterans saying that they voted for Trump just 2 months ago. They're fired, doing jobs like helping other veterans. One person who worked at the Department of Agriculture said that he's expecting a new baby, and now it doesn't know how he's going to take care of his family. And they appealed to President Trump, as did I, to have a reinstatement because many of these people were doing good work.
Right.
They had good performance reviews.
You got people who were doing research for cancer getting fired. It's disgusting. So here, this is HR Resolution 14 establishing congressional budget for the United States government for the fiscal year 2025 and setting forth the appropriate budgetary levels for fiscal year 2026 through 2034. Right? So these are the estimated expenditures for the year, level of revenues, recommended levels of federal revenues for as follows. These are crazy numbers, man. When the last time you seen a trillion? Oh man. The amount by which the aggregate levels of federal revenue should be changed. So this is $1 million. This is 450 billion each year, right? Boom, 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 boom. But we're here for something specific, right? They said that Democrats were voting against. Hold on, can you see it? Oh no! Are you able to see it? The then dang it, you're not able to see it. I guess I gotta. Hold on, let's see. We about to do this a different way then. Whatever way we gotta do it, that's how we gonna do it. Hey y'all, how you doing? All right, so because it's not allowing me to show the search, right? So this entire time they've been saying that Democrats voted against no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, and no tax on overtime. We watched 3 videos where 3 black dudes all were parroting that narrative, and we also saw Trump say that this is what Democrats voted against, right? So, like I said, this is the entire CR bill, right? And we're gonna go deeper into. Matter of fact, no. Before we do that. No. I'm right. We're gonna finish with this. Alright. So boom. We're just gonna do a simple key search for what is this? Let's do overtime. Right? Oh, snap. Search. Boom. Alright, so type in overtime. All right, so overtime as hold on, I spelled that wrong. On. All right. Overtime is mentioned in this CR bill 0 out of 0 times. So that means that at no point does this CR bill make mention of overtime. All right, it said no tips. Let's see how many times tips are mentioned in this CR. 0 times! These people are banking on your ignorance. These people are banking on your ignorance. They know you're not going to go look at and read the bit. I mean, you read it. I mean, you look at it, right? It can be intimidating. I don't like. Y'all saw I had to count from right to left to see how many bills. All right, so this is 100,000, million, billion, trillion. You know. They know that you're not going to go and look things up yourself. And even if you do go and look things up, do you have the ability to filter, to absorb the information, filter it, and be able to understand what you're looking at? They're playing you for like a fiddle. They know that you don't know. And they don't care. Hold on, let's see. Oh, see? That's how we want to do it. Boom. We don't even I'm gonna do it again just to have it on recording, and I'm gonna make this bigger so that we're gonna do a term search for tip. So tip is actually in the CR 2 times. It usually has like that may be on Safari only. All right. So as far as tips are mentioned 0 times in the CR. Overtime. Overtime is mentioned 0 times in this CR bill. Just because the nigga don't comb his hair doesn't mean that he knows what he's talking about. Just because there's 3 of them talking to a white man doesn't mean that they know what they're talking about. Their blackface is trying to perpetuate a narrative just for you to buy into it. Oh my gosh. These niggas don't know what they talking about. But that Trump is still bloviating. Oh, I did. I can't. I logged out of it. No, I didn't log out of it. Without Twitch, I'm banning her song. Oh, let's see. Why is it? All right, y'all. I'm going to end the stream. I can't do this too much. My nerves is bad. These folks done piss me off, and I'm hungry. So I hope y'all enjoy this. I hope it was informative. I appreciate you watching. Anybody else that came through and gave me their eyeballs for a little bit, I appreciate that. Y'all enjoy y'all night, man. God bless America. I hope something happens. You know what I'm saying? This is a trying time. You know what I'm saying? And I'm kind of glad I ain't got no kids, because it'd be nothing for me to just hop and jump to another country. But my family here, so I'm never gonna do well. I ain't gonna never say never, but that's not what I'm looking into right now. But yeah, man. God bless. I hope everybody is I hope everybody gets what they want, you know. But beyond that, y'all have a good night. Oh, I didn't record anything. It'd be like this. It'll be on YouTube though.